I love my backhand. You should love yours. Today we're going to go over how to have a better backhand. That's the first thing we need to do is always have that ball in the same location. If I can have that ball in the same location every time I hit, then my shots are more consistent going across that net. So that ball is going to go where it's going to go. If I want it in the same location relative to my body, it means I have to be willing to move my body and get my body such that the relationship between my body and that ball is where I want it to be. I have to move if that ball is short or further back, left or right. I need to move so that ball is where I need it to be. All right, so then the question is, where is that ideal location? So for me, hitting backhands, it's down about knee high and it's out in front of this knee, about like that. Now if I turn to the side here so you can see, I'm crowding this ball. This ball is very close to my leg or almost out in front. It's not way out here to the side. I'm trying to get this ball here, close to my leg, and then right here in front of this front knee and down about knee high. So if that ball is not going to be there, I have to move my body wherever I have to move it, left, right, forward, or backwards, so that when my ball strikes, my paddle strikes that ball is right there relative to my body. Next thing is I want to swing with my paddle in a vertical orientation, not horizontal. If I swing with a horizontal orientation, that ball is out to the side. It's not down here where I said I want it. If I'm swinging out here to the side, two bad things can happen. One is my paddle angle is off. This goes in the net, this goes up higher, gives them a high ball or goes out of bounds. The other thing is, if I'm swinging out here to the side, where do I get my lift? A lot of people will swing flat here, and if they don't hit the ball just hard enough, there's no lift, it goes into the net. If they swing too hard, it goes out of bounds. So their lift is a problem. Those two problems go away if I swing with a vertical orientation, meaning that if I have this ball here, close to my body, where I talked about earlier, it's impossible for me to have this horizontal paddle orientation. So the angle of my paddle doesn't matter much, it just goes a little bit left or right if that angle is off. I'm getting all of my lift from swinging low to high here and hitting this ball here. If I'm early, that ball goes high and I contact the ball here. If I contact the ball late, it goes into the net. So I only have to worry about my timing if I'm swinging with this paddle vertically oriented. Now it's not perfectly vertical, it's probably more like this because I'm swinging close to my body, but that's way better than swinging with this horizontal orientation. Let's take a look. All right, I'm trying to swing with the paddle in a vertical orientation. This ball is in close to my leg. I am not swinging sidearm. If I can swing with this orientation, I only have to worry about my timing, and I was early on that one. If my timing is good, that ball stays low over the net. As vertical as I can get this paddle, as close to this front leg, not too far out to the side. Again, meaning if this ball is not where I want it to be, I have to move so I can get this ball where I want it to be. Trying to keep this paddle as vertical as I can. Okay, paddle preparation. If the paddle is always in that same location to start my forward swing, things are more consistent going across that net. I highly recommend you start with this paddle up around the shoulder for two reasons. One is, if I just let my shoulder relax, I get that much swing from gravity. A lot of people have trouble getting enough power on their backhand side. I'm not trying to power this, but if I can start with this paddle up here and I just relax the shoulder, I get that much just from gravity by itself. The other thing is, if I start up here, I'm just trying to hit this ball cleanly. I'm not trying to power this ball, and I'm trying to let that paddle do all the work with this pendulum swing, trying to hit that ball well. So if I can have this pendulum motion, that is a really consistent motion, which is different than if I start down here and all of my backhands start from there. This position tends to wander a little bit depending on how high that ball is, and then I have to muscle the swing forward, and some people have trouble doing that because I have no gravity assist when I'm starting from down here at this location. Here's what that looks like. All right, trying to get my paddle prepped up around my shoulder, trying to get the paddle prepped early, meaning by the time that ball bounces, I've already got my paddle back around my shoulder ready to go. If that ball gets here before I think it was going to, I'm already prepared and I can swing earlier. If that ball gets here later than I thought it was going to, I simply hang out in that prepped position, swing a little bit later. As I've got this paddle prepped around my shoulder, Gravity's helping me get this going forward. I'm not trying to overhit, I'm just trying to control this ball. The more controlled I am, the better the shot is. As I get in this prepped position, my arm is bent. By the time I hit this ball though, my arm has straightened out. People will think if I have a straight arm, I'm not in control, but I am. It's all about my timing and having that ball in the right location. So elbow is bent when I'm in this prepped position. By the time I hit that ball, my arm should be fully straight, as should yours, or about as straight as I can get it. That's what that should look like. All right, after my paddle contacts that ball, I want to continue on. Have my paddle chase that ball as it goes away. My paddle should be swinging toward that target. Right now I'm trying to hit over there in the corner a little bit. If my paddle continues on in the direction of my target, my aiming gets better, my accuracy gets better. Don't try and stop this paddle as soon as you hit like that. Your elbow is going to hate you at some point. It's not going to be as consistent. It's not going to keep the ball from going out of bounds long. That ball is already gone. If you try and stop this paddle, it does not help. It just makes things worse. Try and think about hitting through the center of that ball. That wasn't good. Have a good follow through. Finish high. Now how high you finish this depends on how hard you swung. But think more in terms of my paddle is going to chase that ball away. My paddle is going to keep swinging toward that target as long as I can until my shoulder pulls my arm away. Try and have that paddle keep going in the direction of your target, chasing that ball as it goes away. Your accuracy will be better, your consistency will be better. Don't try and pull that swing short. All right, next thing is on this backhand side, do not try and overhit this ball. On the forehand side, I will occasionally try and drive a ball really hard and challenge my opponent. On this backhand side, 90% of the time I'm just trying to control this ball, keep it in play, not make life worse on myself. If I can think about letting the paddle do all the work and gravity helping me get this paddle going, I really don't have to swing that hard. I'm just trying to control this ball, which I didn't do there, and keep this ball in play and not get me or my partner in trouble. Do not overhit this ball. Bad things happen. The harder you swing, the more things get out of control. I'll hit a couple really hard here. And it's just much harder to control. That was in. That went short. The more you hit hard, the harder it is to control that ball. Yes, you can do it some of the time. The consistency is just not going to be there. All right, breathing is important. You need to breathe. This is not archery. This is not marksmanship. We do not need to hold our breath while we're hitting here. Our inhale should start about the time our opponent hits the ball. We should exhale all the way through this stroke. Exhale should finish about the time that ball lands on the other side. I'll breathe for you here. Inhale. Our breathing will help us stay relaxed. We're not trying to overhit this ball, we're trying to control it. The more relaxed I am, the better I can hit that ball, the more controlled it's going to be. So you need to exhale every time we hit, all the way through that stroke. Nice, easy, even exhale will keep us relaxed. Last couple of things, I need to focus on this ball all the way in. Like a golden retriever, when their owner has this tennis ball they're about to throw, try and keep your eyes on that ball. Look for the holes in the ball. If you can see the holes in the ball, that tells you you're concentrating on that ball. Last thing is I need to keep my head down while I hit this ball. I do not want to look up before I make contact. So at contact point, I'm looking down over this right shoulder for me, left shoulder if you're left-handed. keeping my head down. If you pull your head up too early, you've started your swing too early, and generally that swing goes bad.